Okay, this is going to be a follow-up video. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. It's going to be a follow-up video from the previous video where we talked about the Jam X. So while I like the Jam X, for the cost, if you can find a mixer face, which is by Centrus, let me unplug it just so you can see what it looks like that. It's an analog mixer recorder. So like, let's say you're going out and you want to capture, nature or whatever, you can use it as that. It's a mixer. It's battery powered. You can charge it. It's got your headphones. It's got two balance outs on here. So if you get the TRS balance outs to your speakers, you can run your speakers out through it. Two combo jacks on the front. I'm trying to get it in focus is what I'm trying to do. You got your two gains, you got your USB versus your channel. So how much you're going to have in your ear. You have an aux in, which is down here. And then you have a monitor. Hopefully that's clear. Okay, monitor. Plus these little switches that sit inside here is the high Z's to switch them over and the high pass filters right there. Okay, so that's the gist of what it is, what it has. There's a couple other features, how you want to monitor in stereo. You have 48V, so you have the phantom power built into here too. So these, you can, now they're not making this particular one. There's a newer one that's out that's about $450, I want to say, which is really nice. And that one has a higher gain output. So you'll see this is just going to sit here for right now. Has a higher gain output. And I personally like that one, but this one I got used. So you can find these used for sometimes under $200, which is pretty much what the cost of the Jam X would be. And I actually like this better after putting some thought into it, and I'll tell you why. It's primarily because this one, the Jam X only has one single. They make this one on a single too, but the Jam X only has a single input. This one has two combo jacks. So you can run your keyboard. Let's say you got a Hydrasynth. Let's say you got whatever keyboard you want to run in. You can run that stereo, or you can use it as just like I'm doing it right now, which is just for the guitar, right? So one, or bass, one input. Now, I did say it's clean. When I mean that, I mean it's clean. Like it's not going to be, there's no character necessarily in the signal. It's meant to be that way. It's meant to be super clean. And I think this one, the other one, the newer one, I want to say is like 65 dB. I may be off on this, but 65 dB. And I think this one is around 50, somewhere around there, 50, 55. It might be like 10 dB difference between the two. But that's a lot. It gives you a lot more cleaner, a lot more gain on tap rather, so that you can dial it in if you need that. For me, this one's fine. And like I said, because I got it for like $160, under $200, I'm not complaining. And so here's why I would choose this one over the other one. This one is battery powered. So I can charge it up as it is right now. There's no power. It's not being powered by the iPad at all. And I can just use it, pull it out. If I want to practice, I can go somewhere and just sit with this one, practice. I think it works better on vocals and mic stuff than it does on guitar, but there's a workaround with that, especially if you have an iPhone or if you have AUM. A couple plugins to look into if you're interested in this workflow is Saturn, FabFilter Saturn. Catch it on a Black Friday sale. And then definitely grab these. The RRS stuff is really good. These are all the different compressors and EQs and things that they built that sound just so good. The presets are simple, but I like that. It's just what you need. It's not a bunch of fluff in there. And then you can dial in and make your own presets too. And best of all, these are on iOS, but they're also on desktop. So let's say Logic comes out. You want to use these on both. You can jump from here, have it on your desktop. Now, I think it's like $50 I heard on desktop. On iOS, it's only like $5. So big difference, but think about it. Even if you bought both from them, you spend $55 and you got a really good preset that you can jump back and forth. They have a bunch of them. I kind of try to get the majority of them on iOS, especially the ones that I'm going to use. But today I'm just picked this one because I like it. There's a warmer bass DI setting that they have in here. I changed it a little bit. I put a little more output gain on it. And the attenuated select, I put it 10 instead of I think that's what that is. I put it on 10 versus it was on 5 just to give it a little more output. So I have the bass plugged in right now. You can see it's pretty quiet. Well, until I start obviously pressing it. If you look at my settings over here, I'm using this one, by the way. So I'm going to just turn these down. There's no purpose in this being all up. All right, so you'll see this. I have the high Z on, and I just have it sitting about midway. My bass is always on dimed out on that. If I need more volume, I can crank it here. Okay, so I'm going to play the same song for you that in the JMX video. I just took the bass out that I recorded, and so all you'll hear is now I'm at it. So you see what I mean? It's not JMX, but what it is that this is analog, so I'm just running it through an analog, passing it through to digital into the iPad, putting a little Saturn, which gives me a little bite, you might say, and then using their equalizer to do that. You could get really intricate if you wanted to, and throw a compressor over that if you need more. I like the tone booster stuff because it's pretty clean. So Barricade works really well for that. And if you use their compressor, they have a, let's see, where is it at? You can use a loud mixer. There's a compressor limiter built in there. Just, if you want to. You don't want that extra. Turn it back a little, depending on your plan. All right, so that's that. Just wanted to show you there's other options. I personally like this better only because I have control of how much, like the other compressor in there, I'm just using volume. It's just whatever their settings are in the JMX, and you turn in the volume. It's not like I can go in and manipulate the compressor and change settings. This you have more control. Plus, if I want to add to it, I can do that. So this really makes it warm putting that. You don't have to have all of these, but these are cheaper. Fab Filters, Saturn's a little more expensive. So if you don't want that, I'm just saying you can get rid of that. Use this for your warmer sounds, and then throw a little compressor limiter over the top of it. And I love Tone Booster because they're on desktop too. The other one that I've used is the Clevgran, which I believe is on desktop. I don't think I would say buy that one because I feel like you get more out of the Barricade. So With the Barricade, I use that on the master, and I think I get more out of that plugin. I actually have it on desktop too. I use it, but than I would buying the Clevgrand, which I only use typically to push the bass a little bit more to cut through the mix. But you can do that between using this and other plugins. So check out the RRS stuff. I think there's stuff. I have a bunch of their stuff down here somewhere. Where is it? Right here. All these Red Rock Sound. That's what it is. So some of these I don't have, like the Exciter I don't have. This one I don't have. They have some demo versions, but this is a really good one too. I don't know why every time I come here I have to press the restore button. That drives me a little crazy, but whatever. It's kind of weird how it opens up that and then I have to go back to this just to get to the actual preset. I'm not sure why it's doing that. That's one of the things I don't like about it. I got to figure out. It may just be a setting I need to adjust, but yeah, I don't like when it opens the other thing, the IAA. I can't think I said that right. Yeah, the IAA, the Interapp plugin, while it has this one open too. It's like just one or the other is sufficient. But anyway, you can see the presets here. You can put them on drums, the guitar if you need that. On bass, they have a couple presets, a bass DI. So if you don't, so not that, but if you don't like, you know, and then of course you can always, if you got the know-how or what you want to do, you can always put your own in. So let's say you get rid of that one, move these around. I'm going to put that one on, and then I'll just play it a little bit and let you hear. Those are my favorite two so far that I've tried, but so both of these sound really good. You can pick whichever one you want. You don't have to buy everything. In other words, just buy the ones you really want. If I'm going to buy the Red Rock stuff, for sure I'm getting this one. Right there. And this one. These two, I think, to me, are like, if I had to pick must-haves, would be those two. Everything else is just extra. Just that you could keep, so. And definitely check out Tone Booster stuff. Their stuff is really good too. These are probably the most affordable. FabFilter is a little more expensive, and especially if you go try to get it on desktop, it's really pricey. Black Friday may be some deals. Summer sales happen. Sometimes catch those. But I would say these for sure. So another option that I'm using nowadays, it's not the same as having a bass guitar. Obviously, changes the dynamics of that. But I haven't tried this yet, but you could try this too. iFretless bass, and put some of those Red Rock plugins on there and see how that sounds, or even a Saturn or something like that, to see if you can get a nice warm sounding bass from it. The other option that I've been lately liking a lot, actually not looking into, I just like it, is Model D. I mean, you can't go wrong with Model D. And you could even add something to the Model D if you wanted to. Let's see here. Okay, so Model D, if you get a chance, the CMT, I think I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but the CMT, I think it is. No, it's not CMT. It's James. This one's free. James Edward Cosby. I think he's a YouTuber. I'm not exactly sure. I think that's where I saw him. But yeah, grab his free Model D plugin set, and inside of there is one in particular that it's called the Jazz Electric Bass. You can turn the delay off if you don't want it. or put it back on, however you. I don't care for the delay as much. You can leave the bender on. Not bad. You know, it's not going to be, and you shouldn't expect it to be the same as playing a real bass. But if you don't mind, like, putting on a nice bass sound. So he has that one. I'm just showing you that one because it's free. And then, let me see this one. Don't do that one. Where is it at? There's the 145. That one comes with this, so you wouldn't even have to look for anything if you want to use it. And you could tweak and make your own adjustments in there. The other one, I think, is CMT. That his stuff is really affordable too. I think it's like $5 for this pack that he made. And I don't know why my brain's overlooking him. Is right here. All right. Let's see. There's the Warlock ones in here. Yeah, these. So I'm not a fan of putting effects on it until I'm ready to put effects, but just turn the ARP off. If you need to make some adjustments, you could, but between that one and let's do this one. No, this one. Yeah, 2. Number 2, and just turn off the ARP because I don't like that. So there's no decay in that, or it's not holding notes for you. So this probably would not be the bass I use on here, but I'm just showing you some cool bass sounds. If you wanted to, you could just replace that and go with like an iFretless. You know, the hardest thing about bass on iOS is just that. It isn't much there, to be honest with you. But I will say, if Logic Pro comes out as it is on desktop, if they give the same instruments, there's a couple good bass sounds in there that you can use. GarageBand has actually some that are decent. They're okay, not too bad. They're usable. They're not my favorites, but they'll work, you know, in a pinch if you needed to just record some bass. Trillion is still, to me, the best bass app, or bass plugin rather. It's a plugin that is out, and until they come to Logic, to iOS, it's, you know, gonna be challenging to find something better. But that's the one that gets me. You can make a sample of that, like if you own Trillion or something like that, you could go to Logic if you have it on desktop and use the auto sampler and sample the like 3 octaves, 4 octaves of that, and you can use that if you want, which is really what I do typically. I'm trying to show you. Oh yeah, iFretless. That's what I was looking for. So on iFretless, if you have Fab Filter, if you don't, that's fine too. You can use this one. And all you want is something to warm the bass up, which is like, that's fine for that one. You hold it down, go in. That's an electric upright. I'm trying to find just like a Studio Jazz. There you go. That's pretty good. Studio Jazz. What I like about this iFretless is the ability, because we're obviously on a screen here, to get a little vibrato in a note. So that's kind of cool. See what I'm saying? So I would go with, if I'm on iOS and I'm doing budget stuff where I'm still trying to get a nice sound and I want a real sounding bass, iFretless bass, get like the EQ 173, put that nice bass DI thing they have. If you don't want to use that one, the other option is you could just throw a Saturn on there. if you have the Fab Filter stuff, where is Saturn? Fab Filter. You could throw that on there. The idea is to warm the sound a little bit to make it where it doesn't sound so stereo. Let's see what it sounds like if you put both on there. Not bad. It sounds pretty good. Yeah, that sounds good. So maybe put Saturn up here and then. Yeah, that's nice. I might actually start doing that myself a little bit. Like, if depending on like if I want to play or not, if I'm not able to play because I'm maybe somewhere away from the bass and I don't have all this extra stuff, if I was gonna use it, I might go out fretless and just try to find a way to make the coloring of it sound a little bit more natural and real as much as you can. And part of that is EQ. And then part of that is a little warmer sound on there, maybe some distortion. Just so, but it's got to be real light. Like I didn't even use a setting in here. I'm just putting it over it just so it's light. And iFretless can take care of the rest of it. Because I think there's reverb, if I'm not mistaken, in iFretless. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a reverb that's going on in there. If you turn that reverb off, let's just turn it off. Because sometimes the reverb can... So that might be the problem with that one is they have it so high because they're trying to make it emulated. Yeah, so adjust your reverb. I personally like it without the reverb, to be honest. Yeah, because then I feel like I'm just getting a dry bass. But that's okay, because then what I could do is if I wanted to add reverb, I could always go in and find a reverb that I like. Y'all know what I like. I like that EOS 2. But mind you, I don't put reverb on bass really that much. I mean, maybe somebody can tell me otherwise, but I might use the ambient, and then it would just have to be like really low because I don't like a lot of reverb on bass, if you ask me. Let's see. It's okay. Let's see what it sounds like in the mix. Yeah. Hey, that's not bad. I ain't gonna lie. I would actually rock with that and be okay with that in a track just for like demo purposes, not trying to make it. I think it's okay, you know? So there you have it. That's the end of this video. I just wanted to show you other options for bass portions other than using the Jam X. Because the Jam X to me is more like if you have an actual bass or you have a guitar that you want to play through it. These options are built right into the iPad, and if that's what you're using to produce, if you're not, you go over here, then we might be talking a little bit different because I use different, like the Goodhertz 303 Volt compressor. I use that, and then I'm gonna eventually get Saturn over here too because I really like Saturn, especially on the master track on the final mix. But I think these compressors are just really nice. I wouldn't buy them all necessarily because I don't know if I would use them all, but I mean, they're $5 a piece. It's kind of hard. $20 and you got yourself 4 of them, right? So why not? All right, I'm out. That's the end of this video. Questions in the box, suggestions, cool. You know the routine. All right, I'm out.